are going to be talking about sales systems, but here's the thing. I want to define what we're talking about because, and I'll just tell you right now, like if you are not using great tools, if you are not using great SaaS platforms to make your life easier, there's just no way you are going to be able to scale a company. You just cannot do it on your own, leveraging spreadsheets or, just Google, Google Docs and that sort of thing. Like you could do that at the very, very, very beginning, but you're gonna hit that ceiling really quickly. And so what I've got Lisza and Lucho here, we're going to geek out for about 30 minutes on all of the major categories of tools you should have. Lisza and Lucho we'll talk about maybe some, different things. I'll share maybe some of the tools that we use and what we do. And then I'll have Lisza and Lucho kind of explain what they do. I mean, essentially why I wanted to bring you guys on is because you just create amazing systems and you review systems, because when you're talking about all of these individual tools, you have to get them to integrate together, right? Otherwise, I mean, it's going to be a hornet's nest real quick. It could be a real mess. And now you're back to creating more work for yourself. But first off, so before we get going, guys, feel free, let's introduce yourself and what you do, and then we'll kind of dig into the meat here. And again, I'm so grateful to have this conversation because I am a total nerd when it comes to systems, but thankfully I've got that technical background. Yeah, that's not everybody though, right? Most people love what they do. They love the outcome they create. And this stuff that we're talking about stresses them out. So we're going to share some really, really great tips on how you can live a little bit more stress-free. All right, guys, take it away, please. Introduce who you are and what you do.
Awesome. All right. Well, I'll go. I'm Lisza Crisali, and I'm one half of our team here. We started our company back in 2003. So we've been around for a little while, kind of like you, like we're really all about systems and processes. And so we started back then, like way back in 2003, creating processes for our company so that we could streamline it depending on, or no matter who stepped into a particular role, right? They could step in and follow the systems and processes, even as a small company, right? As a small company. Yeah. So we've been doing this for a very long time. And over these last 18 years, we've worked with almost every platform that you could probably imagine. And part of what we do is we recommend and have over the years recommend different platforms and programs for businesses based upon either where they were at, what their end goal was, where they wanted to be, and then what made the most sense for their business. And so that's really what we've been doing over the last 10 plus years of our company. And what we're going to share with you today is really a culmination of saying, just like you said, instead of having all of these pieces and trying to get them to play together, right, which could work sometimes and not work other times, we've been able to bring all of this together on one platform. So that's what we'll share with you, and I'll let Lucho share a little bit more about his background.
All right, so I'm Lucho Crisali, the other half of the team, and I've actually been in this business, in this field since 1997. My degree is in food science, human nutrition, and exercise kinesiology, and I was a registered dietitian in one of the country's top 30 hospitals. And even then, what we used to do is take these little Post-it notes and write down what you don't like doing and putting on a board. And then people that love doing that would pick it up and do that, right? But it was all about systems and implementing that. So when my rounds were the burn unit, intensive care unit, oncology, and ortho, really difficult areas of the hospital, we were always implementing systems. So I've always looked at things in businesses on how can I improve the system and how can we streamline it? And years later, in 2003, when we launched our company, I developed the first nutrition certification for the health and fitness industry. And once I realized that no matter how much they knew about nutrition, if they didn't know how to run a business, it wouldn't help them. So that's where we developed systems that they could plug in. So we have a systematic approach to nutrition counseling, which anybody can copy and plug in whatever it is their magic thing is they do, whether it's, I don't know, hormone replacement clinic or a chiropractor or a doctor or whatever. But then we also noticed that they were kind of duct taping stuff together, right? You had an appointment calendar over here, Infusionsoft over there, and things wouldn't talk, or they would talk for a while, then they would stop and nobody would know. So we were always looking at how do we streamline things, make them more easily, and also like that little post-it, how do we get the stuff you hate doing out of your hands and get it done?
And get
So
it automated.
get done by somebody who loves doing it.
Yeah, so really, we're going to be kind of talking about the tech stack that you want to build for yourself, and just talking about the evolution of a business. I think a lot of people kind of start and they're like, well, sheesh, the first thing I need is probably a CRM or maybe an email program. They're just kind of guessing at what they need. I need to be on social. Oh, I need a website, right? And so they're just trying to prioritize, what do I need right now so that I can call myself a business? And I think a lot of times it's usually maybe a social media platform. They kind of put a name for themselves out there. They see what kind of business they can drum up just on those social platforms. And meanwhile, they're kind of working on a basic website. And, obviously, and I could just tell you again from, my background and, 12 plus years and authority and branding and kind of growing influence for a revenue-based outcome, as well as having a big impact in the world. Your website really should be your number one salesperson. It really should be doing some great work for you. But again, the website is just kind of one face to all of these back end systems that you need to have as a business owner. And if you don't have these things, it just makes your life more difficult. So now, if you're talking with maybe one potential customer a week, okay, maybe you can survive on Google Docs to run that. But the sooner you run to the tools, or sooner you employ the right tools to run your company on, the sooner you don't have to spend and invest quite so much time into operating those things inefficiently. And so, I have a background. I've been web developing since like the 90s. And so I'm generally pretty comfortable with, Zapier, native integrations when you can find them. That's not always the case. And APIs, which can get really complicated sometimes. And then you end up having to hire an API developer. I've been running web-based companies since, 20 years now. So I've run it all. We've had custom developers, where we've paid tens of thousands of dollars to build stuff. I know you guys have been there as well. So let's kind of go through, I think, a great way. And by the way, to anyone watching this right now, feel free to ask. If you're right now, for example, like, shoot, I am definitely in the market for like CRM. Like, I know our CRM stinks, or we don't even have one. Like, we're going to go through some of the basic categories of those SaaS platforms or those tools that you want to have in place. And then we'll just kind of geek out on that a little bit. And then, of course, again, the big thing we really want to aim for is integration. Like, how do you get these things to talk together? Because when you do, I'm just telling you, your life is just so much easier. You, instead of having to hire very expensive staff, you can hire maybe staff that don't need as much hand-holding, they would be maybe a little bit lesser in terms of like the investment, their hourly investment, because you have everything so systematized and running so well that you basically could just cut a video and say, okay, here's exactly what you're going to do each and every day. You're going to follow the system. I've set it all up. You just come in and do exactly what I tell you to do, rather than having to hire somebody to create all this stuff for you and manage all this stuff for you. Again, this is another advantage, because ultimately it's going to save you a lot of money in the long run.
Yeah,
that was a lot of words. As you can tell, like, I'm really passionate about this subject.
One of the things I like to bring up is that oftentimes, either whether they're a new business or a medium-sized business, they don't realize the amount of business they are losing because they don't have systems. They think, well, I'm not that busy. Well, that's because you don't have any systems in place, right? If you had the right systems in place, you would be busier. You would be able to automate a lot of this stuff, and you actually would be able to grow your company and your income. So there's a cost to setting them up, but there's a much higher cost to not having them. And that's what people fail to see oftentimes.
And you set it up one time and it will work for you over and over and over and over and over, many, many years. I mean, with some tweaks and modifications, and that's it. So if you build it once in the front end, right? You create the processes and systems so then you can focus on what it is that you do best. And again, when you clearly understand like your business, I'm going to give an example here. One of our clients, she's a trichologist, if you happen to know what that is, but she's a hairstylist during the day, but a trichologist is she specializes with people who are losing their hair, and she helps them naturally and organically and et cetera. But what happens is when she's doing hair, when she's in her salon, she can't answer the phone. She can't take on those trichology clients, right? So we're setting up for her a system that automatically takes those calls, gets the information, asks them to book a time when she can call them back when she's available, right? Based on her schedule. And it does all of this automatically. So now she's not chasing after them, trying to get a call. Right. So it automates that entire process that works with her schedule. And again, these are just a snippet of what is possible.
Yeah, because typically when she has a first call with a client, it's like, well, send me some pictures of their scalp or what's going on. So we can automate all of that. So by the time she gets on the phone with them, she has all the information she needs. The same process is set up for auto detailers. If they're out watching a car, they can't stop and answer a phone. So they automatically send out a text that says, hey, send me a picture of your car. What service do you want to have done? Blah, blah, blah. So by the time they get on the phone with them, it engages a customer. They don't go looking for somebody else. And now they're more likely to say, hey, wow, this person's responsive. They know exactly what they're doing, what I need. So systems are a game changer.
Absolutely.
So I think, one thing that I like about this, and again, kind of coming at it from a consumer advocacy role, I, as a consumer advocate, I want consumers to have a great experience. I want them to feel like they're attended to. And it's not that we're saying, listen, if you want to engage with my brand, it's going to be completely robotic, right? We're not talking about that. We're talking about the difference between being unresponsive and being able to give them exactly the resources that they want and need. A lot of times consumers don't want to talk with you right away. Like they want to learn the facts and figures about this. They want to figure it out on their own if this is a great fit. A well-run sales process and system will take care of this for you, and you don't have to be pushy. Like you can respond and make sure that you've set up systems very, very well so that consumers can get exactly what they want and what they need.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember, if you're not responsive, so we all know that follow-up is imperative in any business. And if you're not responsive to people, like literally right away, they're going to go somewhere else.
Yeah.
And there's no reason why it cannot be. It can be automated, but it can still feel very, very personal. And it like literally like the follow-up, like it's a text message that says, hey, I'm with a client right now, right? I can't take your call, but here's the thing, leave me this information. And now they feel like, oh, well, I don't need to call anywhere else. All I need to do is give them my info and we've got this thing going. They feel taken care of.
Yeah, and also the system can remind you, the business owner, when to pick up the phone and call somebody and get back to them. So it's not just about automation, it's about keeping you focused, because again, if you wear way too many hats, which tends to happen in entrepreneurial businesses, you're busy doing one thing when you should be doing the other thing. That is what is your income producing activity, which is talking to the customer, to the prospect. So it also helps you, the business owner, make sure you don't drop any balls and make sure that you stay on track and that you actually help the people that are wanting your help.
Yeah. Yeah. Maybe a good outline in terms of, because we could talk about lots of different pieces here. And, I think one of the first things that folks are probably interested, if you're in business for yourself, is I just need more people to talk with. And so what usually that falls into is a term we call just lead gen, right? And because, the more people that you can talk with, not only again, exposure is everything, right? And the more people that you can generate awareness in front of, the more people ultimately you'll be able to do business with. But beyond just the fact that we have sheer numbers now of people that we can engage with, what I like about this is that as a business owner, the only way to grow your business and learn what the market really wants, and you will evolve your service. You will evolve your company over the years ahead. You need data. And the only way to get that data is you have to get people engaging with you and have them tell you what they want, what they love. Up My Influence today is a much different company than it was several years ago, right? Savings Angel, my other company, is a very different company today than it was back in 2007 when we launched. And the only reason that we've been able to be as successful as we have been with both of those companies is we've been able to talk with a lot of people. And so let's start by talking about lead gen systems. Like, what are some of the tools that you would use today to cultivate awareness?
Well, one of the things you mentioned earlier was about having a website. And a website, I oftentimes say it is great. It's like winking at a girl in a dark room. Nobody knows what the heck you're doing except for yourself. So a website is great to have the information, but you need the lead gen to get people to get to your website. So that's how you can get eyeballs on the website. Otherwise, there's thousands of websites going up every 10 seconds. How do you get people to get to yours? And that's what lead generation is all about.
Right.
Yeah. So instead of it being like just a brochure, which most websites are basically a brochure, which is great for information, but as you said in the very beginning, Josh, it needs to be working for you, right? Your website needs to be working for you. And that lead gen is, how are you going to help, how are you going to build the database? How are you going to get their information? And that ultimately comes down to, what can you share with them? How can you be of service to them? What value can you provide to them so that they want to part with their email address, right? Or part with their phone number, right? Most people, again, these day and age, people will not opt in to be on your list. They're not another list.
No, right? You just saying, enter your email here to be on our newsletter. Like no way.
I don't need any more junk. Yeah.
No way. That just there's your homework, there's your first homework assignment. If that's what you're saying on your website, and you're like, I wonder why nobody's opting in. It's because consumers see their email as currency. If I give you my email address, it's because I want some value from that. I don't just give that out because I don't want junk mail. That eats up into my day. Exactly. So it better be something really, really valuable, or, someone that I really, I have a relationship and I want to engage with them.
Absolutely. And if there's something there, what is the value that you can provide to them? What problem do you solve? Or what, transformation can you help them achieve? Okay. So if there's something there, again, whatever your area of expertise is, by giving them insights into those things that can help them, again, it's always, you're a master teacher of this, Josh. Okay. Which is, how can I serve? How can I help? How can I provide value to you? And it's the same thing in lead generation. It absolutely is. They have to get to know, like, and trust you first, right? Let me get your information. Let me see how you deliver this. Let me learn your style. Let me see if there's, it feels like a good vibe here, right? Like, people are going to know based upon what it is that you deliver and how you are of service. Oh, you're muted.
I can't hear you. That's weird. Did you bump your microphone maybe? My microphone has a mute button on it.
Oh, that's weird.
I can hear Lisa. Can you hear me, Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay.
But Josh wow, that is strange.
Let's see. There's a.
I know there's.
Oh, so there's a setting here on the side next to the chat, I think. Can you hear me now? Yeah.
I can hear Lucho, but I'm wondering, in the audience, if they can hear Josh, but we can't hear you. How odd, right in the middle of everything. We love technology.
So what I'm seeing on my screen, Josh, is a microphone, a camera, a screen, and a little wheel, a little cog. If you click on that, I think.
Well, while he does that, why don't we share a little bit more here about systems while he is.
Well, yeah, let's look at some of the things that clients would need to run a successful business. Like we already mentioned email marketing. So we need email marketing, right? And email marketing can range anywhere from $30 to $99 a month.
Yeah.
And then there's some easy to manage email marketing platforms, and there are some that are a nightmare, and even people that are experienced cannot figure them out. So you want something simple that's easy to use. So that usually runs you $99 a month at the most. Now, there's some platforms that go all the way up to $250 a month just for email, which are overkill. So it depends on what it is that you're doing and what you want.
Yeah.
But
So
Lisa's the one that's more the expert when it comes to those tools.
right, so when we talk about email and we talk about CRM, customer relationship management, right? It's really important is how you handle that database. So when they're opting in, right, when they're actually offering their email address, when you're giving them, this is the lead generation part, right? When you're sharing something of value to them, then what happens is you have the opportunity to follow up with them. How do you follow up with them and continue to provide value? And that's what the CRM is. That's what the email marketing is, where again, you're taking them through the journey, the customer journey, letting them go through the process, learn more about you, understand what it is that you teach or what it is that you offer. That's the whole process. And again, this can be literally created one time and work for you over and over and over and over again. And I'll give you an example. Lucho and I, 18 years ago, when we very first released our nutrition certification program, we created a whole email sequence, right? We actually went in, we were in LA and we were at a hotel and we took an entire day and we wrote this email sequence. Think of it like a TV show that is like This Is Us, where it's an ongoing story each week, right? It's a series. And so each week, like you're waiting to see what's going to happen next week, like what's going to happen next week. Well, it's the same thing with an email campaign where you're taking them through, you're having a conversation with them, but you're breaking it up into many pieces. And again, you're not writing all this email every single time somebody opts in, right? You're creating a sequence so that it takes them through the journey, an automated process, but it's your voice, right? It's what would you say to them?
Yeah.
So
it was to keep them on track on the nutrition certifications. It was like, hey, right now you should be on module number 7. What did you think about the different types of protein and what proteins have you used? So it's in conjunction with where they are in the course. So it's automated, but it looks like, oh, they know exactly where I am. So it's actually, it doesn't look robotic.
Right.
So it's meant to keep them on track, engaged at the same time, and to acknowledge that you're paying attention to what they're doing. And as we moved forward and we started editing or adding more portions to the course, we added an email here and there. Or when things like when we first started, our nutrition software was Excel based back in 2003. Well, when we made it online, then of course we just edited a few emails that were talking about the software to talk about our online what works custom nutrition software. So there's little tweaks that you need to make every now and then that you can add as your business grows and changes. But email platforms are a must in order to be able to keep clients engaged and as well to deliver different things to them. Speaking of the course, you also, if depending what your business is, if you develop a course or if you have a membership site, there's something called an LMS, a learning management system. And those can range up to $200 a month, $130, $150, $99, something like that. And that's for specifics. With this pandemic that we are going through right now, a lot of businesses went from being brick and mortar businesses to being online and to offering memberships or online classes. So you need a sort of a gateway to allow people access to those services that are guarded. So that not anybody can get in there. Only people that are paying you for that membership or for that access can get access to. So that's called an LMS, a learning management system. Do you have a voice now? No, still not. All right, we'll keep going.
The next one I want to touch on then, which is very important for any business, is going to be a calendaring, a scheduling system. And again, this absolutely needs to be automated. You should not be on the phone with people trying to schedule appointments and when you can fit them in. Again, this can be completely automated where you provide a link and then they have access to your calendar where you can manage, again, time blocking. Very, very important, right? There's specific time blocks when you do the onboarding call or when you do a client consult, right? And they can only book on those certain days and those certain times, right? All of this is automated. Now, calendaring systems, scheduling systems can run anywhere from like $12 up to literally $35, $45 a month. Okay, again, these are all prices that add up every single month when you're adding this piece and the LRM and the CRM and the ESP and the scheduling and the Zapier and the this, right? Like all of those things add up, you guys, and you just start going, right? Like all of these costs. how do you bring this all into one simple platform, one login, right? One login platform where you develop and build all of this in one place. So the scheduling is absolutely important.
How do you deliver your contact and your information and your communication with your clients based on who they are? Both Lisza and I are in our mid-50s. Mid to late 50s. We like to pick up the phone and talk to people. I was getting my hair cut, and the kid that cuts my hair, he's like, yeah, my lease on the house that I'm renting ends up, I'm going to text my landlord. I would never thought of texting my landlord. I would pick up the phone and talk to my landlord. So if you have a younger crowd, they may want texting, they may want Facebook messaging, but then you'd have to go to all these different places to do your text, to do your Facebook Messenger, to do your email. Having everything in one place where you click on your contact's name or your prospect or your client, and their information is all in one location. All the Facebook messages that you have had with that person, they have had with you in your business in one place. All the text messages, all the email, all the phone calls that are coming in are being recorded so you can refer to them. And if you have a sales team, you can train them on the sales as well. So you want everything in one location. So email is great. SMS is what you also need. Nowadays, it's the stats show that very small percentage of emails are open, and text messages are typically, when your phone buzzes, you look at it. So it has an over 90% open rate. And of course, Facebook Messenger as well, so you can do that. Now, oftentimes when you have a prospect that does opt in, or if you have a client that you're onboarding, you may need to have a form filled out with their information so you could provide your service or product. Well, that can be automated as well. So that'll be another thing that you'd have to pay an extra $99 or $47 a month to have a form builder. So having everything in one location.
Yeah,
Sorry?
survey builder or form builder, right? Those are extra costs. And again, you have this all in one location. And here's what's really cool about the forms and the surveys. When that information comes in the past, if you've had this as an outside service, right, all of that information stays into that platform. Now you have to take that information and then put it into your customer relationship management platform, right? Like, how do you attach that information to that client? Well, again, when it's all internal in one platform, they fill out a survey or they fill out a form, and it immediately gets associated to that client. So all of the information follows that prospect or that client in one place. You don't have to transfer information and download files and upload files and change information over here and look and log into 2 or 3 different places. Again, it's about ease of use, right? Leveraging, scaling, and growing your business and being efficient with your time, money, and energy. That's where you can be, again, when you can focus on what it is that you do best, be really efficient with your time, money, and energy, and then it will open up free time for you, right, to be able to enjoy your life even more, spend more time with your families, absolutely, grow your business at another level. Like, it just opens up even more opportunity. So
and that's what we say that system stands for. System stands for save yourself time, energy, and money. So, and depending on how your business grows as well, when you have a website, you don't want to have to be dependent on somebody to change a pricing or a wording or something. So you want to be able to have access to where you can make small changes like that. You don't need to learn how to build it. You just need to know how to edit it and how to fix whatever or change a price or correction if you want to. As your business grows, you'll probably by now have heard of funnels. Well, funnels are nothing more than the customer journey. What is the process that you take your customer or your prospect through so that they can become a customer? So funnels are also something that you would have to pay another $97 to $297 a month to build something that most likely will not talk to your CRM or to your other form builders. So having everything in one spot takes all the headaches out of the way and puts everything where you have access by logging into one location only. Once your business grows, you know that for every great customer you have, will tell maybe 5 people. A customer that is ticked off will tell 20 or 40. So you need reputation management as well. That in this era where people can hide behind the screen and trash talk you, being able to have reputation management is a must. And that usually runs about $300 a month as well. So all of these things combined that we talk about usually run about $1,300 to $1,500 a month for a fully developed business. So Oh, sorry, I was reading the chat. So I think his battery went out. So it's really interesting how you can bring everything in, and some of the clients we work with are saving over $800, $400 to $800 a month of what they were paying, and all this duct tape together stuff by bringing it all in one place.
Absolutely.
So, and again, you may not need all of these things. What you may need depends on where your business is in the business cycle right now. Are you a new business? Are you an old business? Are you an established business? Are you growing? Or what is it that is happening? So that you can have different portions of these systems turned on in your business as your business grows as well. So that you can develop it. You can develop it strategically and not haphazardly.
Yeah. So you can start, really basic level stuff. And as you're ready to expand, you add it on. But instead of adding on all of these external components, it's all within one place, right? It's all within one management. And again, especially for people who are tech sensitive or afraid of technology, right? What this is, okay, right? This is a huge opportunity for you to be able to really, really simplify that and take that pressure off. So Josh's audio is out, and Lucho and I are just wanting to share with you, right? Yeah, we'll figure out a way to get Josh back on here for you, but we can see him.
Yeah, I just texted Josh. If you want to call my office number, I can place you on speakerphone, and that way we could hear you speak through the speakerphone.
Okay. All right. No worries. So we're all good here. We just wanted to share this with you. We want you to start thinking about it differently. We want you to start understanding, right, the concepts of technology and bringing it all into one overall location to manage your time, money, and energy. I'm hearing a little feedback though. Actually, that was interesting.
That's okay. And the setup can be done automatically for you. You would just fill in a form of what is your business name, what is your phone number, what is your location, what is your product, whatever it is, and pretty much 90% of it gets done automatically, and then some minor tweaks. So why don't you go ahead and share the website of where they can go to get more information on our systems?
It's actually right there on the screen. So right there on the screen, it says Lisza and Lucho of whatworksacademy.com. So www.whatworksacademy.com. We have an outline on there. You guys can look at everything. You can see what information is there. And again, obviously, we're also available if you have any questions. I will make sure that Josh has our contact information as well, because in here you can just fill out a form and we will follow up with you as well. Yeah, we want to make this as easy as possible. We want to help you guys understand that there is an easier way, right? You don't have to have all of these makeshift components and all of the trying to figure out how do they all, work together. And one of the biggest challenges that Lucho and I always saw over the years is if one platform changes something or does an update, how does that affect everything else? Does something break and then you don't find out about it for a month, until a month later? So we want to help you eliminate all that and to really simplify your life and your business side and manage that, again, to help leverage, scale, and grow your business, right? By saving you time, money, and energy. Those are our favorite things. Again, our website there is www.whatworksacademy.com. Lucho and I are available to answer any questions. I don't know. We're sorry we can't hear Josh, but we see a smiling face. That's fantastic. And glad we could pitch it here for you. That's the beauty of this stuff, right? Absolutely. We're going to say over on out. Thank you so much, Josh. Thank you so much for the platform. And again, we're happy to answer any questions you might have.
Yeah, thank you guys. So you could either email, right below here, you can put in your questions and we'll reply as well, or just go to whatworksacademy.com and reach us that way as well. Have an amazing rest of your week. And we'll